I'm taking video, so we're gonna. So all our YouTube viewers will know what's going on
That's
here.
such a great idea to take a video of the table because it is so good.
For everybody, if anybody needs water or Coke or Sprite, it's upstairs in public.
Well, that's a really well painted king tiger you got there, Tony.
Thank you.
Good job with that.
As hard as I possibly could on that.
a lot of effort.
I typed the whole message in Discord and
Painted king tiger.
relied on the generosity of my friends.
The entire German army is painted. Nice.
Well, welcome to Steel and Standards Wargaming. This is our intro video, a chance to show who we are and frame the course of this channel, what to expect. So we decided on Steel and Standards Wargaming, but it wasn't a popular choice, actually. Banners and Bayonets won. The imagery was awesome. I mean, Napoleonics, guys with banners, bayonets, fixed bayonets. And eventually we'll probably do that too. And, it is what it is. But we love the idea, but eventually we moved to Steel and Standards. And the reason is from Pittsburgh, Steel City, we love tanks and mechs and just big metal things. So Steel really stuck home. And then Standards, carrying the standard into battle. So Steel and Standards Gaming it is. So this is our group. We'll dive in. So we got Morgan, the man, the myth, the legend. I'm truly lucky to have him as a friend, frankly. But what an endearing photo this is. I mean, can you stand it? But Morgan is a veteran, a father, a strategist in all things. So I've never met anyone more lawful good than Morgan, frankly. And sorry, ladies, he's married. Next up, we got Sam. He is the epitome of the gentleman, a scholar, a writer, an exceptional strategic mind. When facing Sam, you're in for a great game, but he's probably going to beat you in 3 rounds. He's super knowledgeable, super adept. And here he is looking dashing in Zurich. He's also Lord Paddington, who writes for Frontline Gaming. Links below. Next up, we got Chris. And what an excellent guy Chris is. Always laughing, having a great time. He really brings energy to the room and makes wargaming just fun, frankly. Here he is holding a 3D printed Overlord dropship. Oh, how cool! So if you need a crazy list to hit Chris up, who doesn't need 18 Pumas in one list? Next up, we got Tony, another incredible guy, one of the nicest people I've met, just kind, caring, fun. Although he doesn't get at many regular games with us, he's always at our big events, having a great time, bringing delicious drinks. And fun fact, he did a worldwide Secret Santa for Horus Heresy, and his Secret Santa thought he looked like Horus and painted a full Primarch mini. So that's pretty cool. We also have Zach, who wanted to pass on the picture. He's very humble, but an excellent guy, committed, kind, and an absolute library of World War II knowledge. He literally knew the Jagd Panther production numbers off the top of his head. Wild. And, we're thankful to have him. Next up, Adam. Didn't want me to talk about him. Didn't want his picture in here. And I respect that request. But I will say I'm honored, lucky to have him as a friend. Also, you got any of those North Africa huts? And finally, me. I'm Matt. So I'm happily married to my wife, Crystal. I have the most amazing daughter in the world, Jade. Love you, honey. I've been gaming since I can remember. My brother introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons when I was 5 years old. I remember spelling the word proficiency, pro-fish. Yeah, that made sense. Anyways, I'm fascinated about all things history, wargaming, and I'm a Disney adult, so go figure. So, what to expect future content from us. So I'm going to be putting out battle reports. I'm going to do general videos on wargaming, and I want to dive into campaigning too. I really feel like that's kind of our niche. I'm going to touch on history as well. I'm a history major. I love it. So I'm going to see what I can do on that regard. But now on to the journey thus far. Hey, everybody. Yeah, so where did this journey begin? Where do we get started? So enter Horus Heresy 2.0 in June of 2022. The Age of Darkness was here. I've been in this game hard. It might still be one of my favorite games, and don't get me started on 3.0. I took to building and painting the biggest Dark Angels force I could muster. And as it turns out, one of my first local events was an apocalypse battle, each person bringing a 5,000 point army. I wasn't ready, but I got it done. It wasn't pretty, but it was table ready. So I've always loved painting miniatures. I started probably when I was 15, maybe even a little younger, some 30 years ago now, right? But I started with some old BattleTech stuff like this Atlas here, as well as some Dungeons and Dragons miniatures from Ral Partha. And through the years, I've always played Dungeons and Dragons, so I've had quite the collection build up there. But now I had a better canvas to work with. The new Horus Heresy miniatures were just awesome and unleashed this muse in me. I really like freehand and scroll work and painting designs and truly try to make these miniatures just stand out and look great on the battlefield, as well as when you pick them up and you're looking at them. So I poured a lot of passion into my Dark Angels army. Enter Astra Appalachia, led by a guy named Joe. Absolutely fantastic. What a good group. What a good guy, really. Generally, we played at the Fabricators Forge in Pittsburgh, so if you're around, hey, come check us out, right? This led to a sweet campaign. I had my Dark Angels force, the Scythes of the Emperor, led by Malachi Jadesong, a praetor, like really cool. Like it was so neat getting into it. The force, naming all the characters, just really getting passionate about your group and everything. We had some adventures. Malachi got captured by the Imperial Fist, Morgan's Imperial Fist, actually. I had to free him. The campaign lasted 6 to 8 months, maybe a year. No idea how many games I played, but it was awesome. That was like the first campaign I was really a part of, and knew I wanted more. For a short stint afterwards, we played BattleTech, specifically Alpha Strike. Wasn't really able to participate in that as much as I wanted, but the guys really got into it. They created a mercenary unit, and all that entails. So we'll get to that again eventually, I'm sure. Next on the docket was Battlefleet Gothic. This took things to a whole new level. This was an actual map campaign, and that's the dream. What really crushes my soul, though, is the utter lack of pictures and video evidence I have from this campaign. I started as the Orcs, led by Rukthor Grimdaka and his Slam Blaster battleship. And I really tried. And I'll try again, probably, but they just need help. I lost 16 games in a row with them. So I was like, I need to move on. So I switched to Chaos, and I set the Imperium ablaze. Tyndall Carver, aboard his battle barge, the Relentless Heresy, was unstoppable, stacking skulls as high as I could. So that was a fantastic journey. And that brings us to Flames of War. This is when we fully transitioned to Morgan's garage. Not at the time, I had moved kind of far away from Morgan, so a little bit of a trek. But we started with the practice games, getting into Flames of War. We had all played 3rd edition back, 10, 12 years ago at this point. Morgan had a complete German army. Didn't know him at the time. We played up at Legions in Pittsburgh. We all played it about the same time. He had a whole army. I had a whole army. I kept mine. He sold his. Turns out the guy he sold it to, he reached out to him, bought it back, and other stuff. So we got this huge, massive Flames of War haul that we split amongst the group. Our first campaign was Khan, the D-Day landings into Normandy. It's kicked everything off with a bang. So, as with others, I only have a few pictures of this. It's really disappointing, the lack of documentation I took, but we did the full campaign. We did the Germans ended up taking Sword Beach, So it's a mechanic that was later removed from one of the updated, revised versions, which we didn't know existed, found later. So we're going to redo that at some point. But which led to a German victory. But the final battle of Khan's epic city fight. Tony, Morgan, and I faced Zach, Sam, and Chris. We had a city defense, and they were attacking in from the outskirts. Notables. Tony brought 3 Yag Panthers. I had a King Tiger that had an awesome defense, but Sam ended up killing at the end. It was pretty cool. But anyways, that ended in a German victory for the overall campaign. So gone! Next campaign was Lorraine. So the teams were the same. Morgan, Tony, and I were the Germans, and Sam, Chris, and Zach were the allies. So the fighting was fierce along the banks of the Moselle River. Quick aside, actually. So I took a trip to Disney, and in the Hollywood Studios, back by the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, there is a tank from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Tank Encyclopedia on YouTube did a deep dive into it. I'll put that link below. But it was really kind of cool to stumble upon this. I did this while we were in the middle of this campaign. So the culmination of the Lorraine battle, the Lorraine campaign, was the attack on Metz. So this was a fortress city that Patton attacked in September of 1944. It took him a full month or two to finally take it. Tons of losses. It was brutal fighting. We did ours as a city, as a river crossing into a city. This is when I started to take video. So as the joke in the beginning of the intro, all our YouTube YouTube subscribers, well, we have none. But that's when I started hey, this should be on film. We're doing something kind of cool here. This is the third or fourth campaign we've done as a group. Let's get into it. Let's document it. So the Allies had to cross this river. The Germans were allowed to blow up 2 of the bridges. But the main mechanic of the game was once the Allies came in, well, they always had unlimited reserves. Once they came in, they got a beachhead on this river. They could just respawn there, and if their unit died, they could bring it in from reserves there. It led to it was a long battle. We played for 5, 6, 7 hours, and we just the Germans held out. So another German victory there, but it was some great fighting, great time. My favorite part of these campaigns are these big battles that we all get together and drink beer and hang out. Chris brought a roast that was just dynamite. So, and now that leaves us with Bagration. So this is the German offensive on the Eastern Front, the mighty counterattack by the Soviets. Morgan took up the leadership of the Soviets. So him, Zach, another one of our buddies, Adam, is doing that side. And then we got Sam join the Germans. We got Chris is also playing Germans because there's trains and he loves trains. Tony's hanging out with us still, and me. So we're all playing the Germans. Right now we're getting our butts kicked. So, but cool. But yeah, that's kind of the summary of how the Steel and Standards YouTube got started.